Everybody is freaking out as Bitcoin drops back below $110,000. We have some very important data points that are coming out for inflation that will determine how the rest of the market will be performing over the upcoming weeks ahead of FOMC. In today's video, I'll be talking about exactly this, going over the recent Bitcoin price action, my trades, and how I am currently navigating this market. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe. Without further ado, let's jump right into the video. First of all, taking a look at Bitcoin here, you can see that we are now dumping. On the 4-hour time frame, we just had a pretty ugly red candle, and you can see that we are making our way back to the bottom of this range. Now, is this over? Is this the correction that I've been talking about? Are we going to see some more upside from here, or should we start to panic? Look, I can show you my trades. I am now down around $12,000 on my most recent Bitcoin long trade. We reclaimed $112,000, or so it seemed, and so I entered a long trade, which was in some nice profits as per yesterday's video, but now you can see that I am down. Now, the way you want to navigate this market is to take advantage of the big wins so you can handle the losses. And what I mean by this is you can see here that I still have my Ethereum trade open, and I took profits on the way up. So, despite the fact that this trade is currently down $12,000, my Ethereum trade has been realized with $60,000 in profit, and right now I'm currently sitting at an unrealized gain of around $9,000. So regardless of what happens with my Bitcoin trade, I will likely be in some significant profits based on these two trades. Now, I want you guys to learn this because you need to be able to handle the losses in this market. Now, I'm not calling it quits quite yet on this trade. If we get a daily close below $109,000, it's at that point that I would be cutting this trade and ultimately accepting the loss and moving on to new trades. So right now, what I want to see has nothing to do with Ethereum. Bitcoin does need to bounce for the rest of the market to get some relief. And so I was expecting us to go ahead and grab the liquidity to the upside all the way up to around 115 to 116K at the bare minimum. And honestly, the liquidation heat maps would suggest that this could still be the case, but I don't want to see a daily close below $109,000 because at that point, we are testing this range low once more. And remember what I told you about the range lows. Every single time that we test it, we did get some significant bounces to the upside. However, the more and more times that we do go ahead and test it, the more and more likely it is that we end up breaking lower. And in September, I would not be surprised if we see Bitcoin back below $100,000 before moving up to our last leg of this bull market cycle. That being said, still in my trades, still operating in this market as I normally would, and until we get the daily close below $109,000, I will not be cutting this trade. Now, if you want a fully transparent signal group where I share all of my wins and my losses as to how I am personally navigating this market, make sure to click the first link in my description down below, DM me the word premium on Telegram, and I would be happy to onboard you completely for free. The way you want to operate in this market is to compound your wins, make some significant profits, and therefore you can handle any kind of potential losses. I'm not giving up on this trade quite yet, but I will make sure to keep you updated if it is closed. Now, in the upcoming hours, we do have some crucial data points to come out. We have core PCE price index month over month. We also have personal income month over month and personal spending month over month. That is just in a few hours from now. So let's see what happens here because this will likely determine what will go on in the upcoming weeks ahead of FOMC. The crazy thing that we just saw is that yesterday, the S&P 500 did hit $6,500 for the first time ever, a brand new all-time high. But as you can see, crypto is indeed bleeding. Why is this happening? Well, crypto is a little bit further up on the risk curve, and so it can likely react much quicker than the stock market would. So let's see how it plays out. But right now, you can see that I'm still in this trade, and the liquidation heat map does tell us that a lot more people continue to pile into shorts. Now, I'm not saying that we can't be moving lower. As a matter of fact, if we start losing this range, I do think that we will be moving lower into September. However, you can see that already a lot of people are aggressively entering shorts around $114,000 on the 24-hour time frame. Now, if I go on the 2-week time frame once more, it paints the exact same picture that I've been sharing over the past few weeks. Look at all of this liquidity to the upside and look at the liquidity to the downside. Most of the liquidity is up there. So I want you to consider this. And taking a look at the Bitcoin exchange liquidation map, one day you can see that a lot of shorts piled into the market. On the 7-day time frame, you can see that once more, a lot more shorts piled into the market. And at last, on the 30-day time frame, there are now way more shorts in the market than longs. There's around 17.56 billion worth of cumulative short liquidation leverage, and on the left here, there's only around 4 billion worth of cumulative long liquidation leverage. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a little bit more manipulation here rather than us just going straight down, but we'll have to see what happens. Either way, I'm very happy with the profits that we secured in this market, and we'll be on to the next trades should we go ahead and break down below this range. Now, something else I want you to just look at, zooming out on the Bitcoin chart, I couldn't help but notice this, which I wanted to share with you, and that is the idea of us getting a lower low and then we pump higher. So you can see here that this is exactly what happened right in March, where we had this low over here and then a lower low and then we pumped. And the same thing actually happened again in June. We had a low and then we had a lower low and then we went ahead and pumped. And what do you notice with this current pattern that we're seeing on the Bitcoin price action? Now, this could very quickly get invalidated, but for now, at the time of recording this video, you can see that we set this low, we made a new all-time high, and now this could potentially set the stage for a lower low before we go ahead and move higher. Now, this lower low can actually drop a little bit further down, maybe even below $100,000 as we head into September. However, I don't think that the bull market cycle is over. I need to keep reiterating that because a lot of people on Twitter are already bear posting because they're comparing this to what happened in 2021. I still think that even if September is red, which we have seen historically in the post-halving years, the bull market cycle is still well and truly intact. Dips should be seen as buying opportunities. And as a matter of fact, from a spot positioning, I still hold Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I have not sold anything. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stables. That's how I'm currently playing this market. And if we get a further correction in September, that is when I would consider buying some altcoins in preparation for the last leg before we head into the bear market. I hope that makes sense. I have my trading portfolio, I have my spot portfolio, and that's how I would recommend that you navigate this market. Now, if you're in my premium group, you know exactly what I'm about to say here, and that is the difference between both portfolios. How do I trade this market stress-free? How can I handle, for example, $12,000 losses? Even outside of making some significant gains with my other trades, I do have a spot portfolio, which is 5 times the size of my trading portfolio. That way, you keep exposure to the market, and whatever happens with your trading account, it doesn't matter because you have that exposure. Now, as a standard rule of thumb, I would typically recommend having your spot portfolio at least 3 times larger than your trading portfolio. This way, you can operate in this market relatively stress-free. And if you've been watching the channel, you know that I've been a huge advocate for literally just holding Bitcoin and Ethereum as well as stable coins in preparation for a much larger drop. So let's see how it plays out. Right now, you can see that Bitcoin does seem to continue to dip, and I will be cutting my most recent trade if we get the daily close below $109,000. And we'll have to see what kind of data comes out of core PCE, personal income, and personal spending. Now, pre-markets ahead of this event are red, and so naturally the crypto market is red as well, which is a little bit annoying, but what can you do? The stock market and crypto are both correlated whether you like it or not. And outside of unfavorable seasonality in September, we do have a couple of things pointing to maybe a further correction in the market. And that is the fact that out of the top 200 insider trades over the last week by value, 0 out of 200 were buy orders. This suggests a temporary cool-off period in the market, but we'll have to see how this develops. And I also wanted to show you that in the past hour, $100 million was liquidated from the crypto market. It clearly doesn't take much to wipe out a bunch of high leverage traders, so make sure you're managing your risk accordingly. Now, as I wrap up this video, remember, if you want to trade with me, you have all of the links in the description down below. And the second link in my description down below brings you directly to Bluffin, where you can earn $2,000 worth of Ethereum completely for free, and you can go ahead and withdraw those funds based on how you're trading on this exchange. I would recommend making this one of your top exchanges. I've been using them for a while, and as you can see, I do like trading on there, mostly on Bluffin, and of course, we also have Weeks. So you have those links in the description down below if that interests you. Now, let's wrap up this video looking at Bitcoin. You can see that it does seem like we're bleeding. And if you were in my premium group, I did talk about how 113K could be an area of rejection. I didn't want to see us break below here. And right now, this is what we're seeing. Is this a shakeout? Are we going to tap into the lows and then get a bounce towards upside liquidity before moving lower? Or as we start to approach September, there's only a few more days left in August, is this the start of the correction that everyone has been talking about? And that sums up today's video. From a spot positioning, I'm still sitting on my hands, and I will likely be adding more capital to the market should we head lower in preparation for the final leg of this bull market cycle. September is typically red, so we'll have to see what kind of opportunities arise. But yes, I would be seeing dips as buying opportunities. If you enjoy the content, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video.